Okay, let's talk about a journey to one of the most forbidden, most dangerous places on the entire planet, Snake Island. We're going to break down an expedition led by none other than YouTube's biggest star, Mr. Beast, and world traveler Drew Binsky, to a place where, trust me, you are never, ever allowed to go.
And yeah, the stakes were set before they even stepped foot on the island. This wasn't some kind of manufactured drama for a video. This was the real, genuine fear of a team heading straight into the unknown. You could just feel the danger was very, very real.
So that brings up the big question, right? Why? I mean, why would you risk it all for a tiny patch of land that's just crawling with deadly creatures? Well, as you're about to see, the reason is way more complex, and honestly, way more important than just a simple adventure.
You know, for a guy like Drew Binsky, who's literally been to every single country in the world, Snake Island was always that one spot he just couldn't get to. He thought it was completely impossible. That is, until he gets this last-minute call from Mr. Beast for an expedition to the #1 place on his list of deadliest spots on Earth.
So let's be super clear about where they were headed. The official name is Ilha da Queimada Grande, but everyone calls it Snake Island. It's a Brazilian territory and it has been completely sealed off from the public since 1985. And the reason why is simple. It's home to thousands, and I mean thousands, of golden lancehead vipers. Their venom is so potent it can literally melt human flesh. We're talking about one of the most dangerous snakes on the planet.
Okay, so the team arrives, and the prep starts immediately. They're gearing up in these heavy-duty protective shin guards and gloves, just mentally getting ready to step onto an island where, for pretty much 100 years, the only other human footprints belong to a handful of scientists. And the rules for being here? They're intense. The island is patrolled by the Brazilian Navy. There are 0 doctors or hospitals. If you get bit, sure, a helicopter is on standby, but it's 90 minutes away. So, it all comes down to one single crucial point. Your survival depends entirely on not getting bitten. Period.
And this is where you see this incredible contrast in attitude. On one side, you've got the YouTubers, and you can just feel the anxiety. They're nervous, second-guessing the whole trip, totally freaking out. And on the other side, you've got the lead scientist who's been here over 15 times. For him, it's just another day at the office. He feels happy, safe. He even says he feels safer here than in the city of Sao Paulo. Kind of makes you think, right?
So this brings us to the actual mission. They weren't just here for the thrill of it. No, they were hunting for what you might call liquid gold. They had to find these golden lancehead vipers for a super critical scientific purpose that goes way, way beyond just a YouTube video.
You see, the island has this really dark history. Back in the early 1900s, people actually lived here to run a lighthouse. Well, that ended in tragedy when a keeper's entire family was killed by snakes. After that, humans left. The snakes took over completely, and scientists became fascinated by their unique venom. And that's what led the government to seal it off for good in 1985.
And a big part of the reason for all that protection comes down to this number. A single golden lancehead viper can go for upwards of $30,000 on the black market. This illegal poaching is a huge problem, and it's a major reason why this incredible species is now critically endangered.
But you know, finding them is not as easy as you'd think. The team searched for hours and saw almost nothing. They were actually starting to wonder if the whole thing was overhyped. Then, all of a sudden, just inches from someone's head, they spot one. The hunt was officially on.
And this whole process really shows you the true purpose of the expedition. First, the experts safely capture the snake. Then the scientists get to work. They microchip it, not to hurt it, but to gather priceless data on its behavior. This is so important because the venom, the very thing that makes it so deadly, is also the key to creating life-saving antivenom and even treatments for heart disease. And then, finally, the snake is released, completely unharmed, and now it's an invaluable part of its own species' survival.
And the impact of this work is it's massive. Get this, the team learned that 90% of all snake bites in Brazil come from this family of snake. The antivenom developed from this one species has the potential to save thousands of lives every single year. So yeah, that's why this all matters so much.
So, with the mission's purpose crystal clear, the next challenge arrived right as the sun went down. To finish their 24-hour journey, the team had to do the unthinkable: survive an entire night sleeping on the island.
And the rule for the night was terrifyingly simple. Do not open the tent zipper, no matter what. Because that rescue helicopter, it can't fly in the dark, so any bite after sundown would be a fatal, completely irreversible mistake.
What followed was just this night of surreal firsts. I mean, imagine setting up these flimsy tents in total darkness, eating some pre-packaged ravioli while you know you're surrounded by thousands of predators you can't see, and then trying to sleep while wearing your protective shin guards. They were the only human beings on that entire island.
After a super tense night, the morning finally came, and everyone was okay. They had survived the 24-hour ordeal. But the souvenir they took home wasn't some rock or a photo. It was the perspective you get from spending a day in a world that just wasn't meant for humans.
And the contrast when they got back? It couldn't be sharper. Back in civilization, that primal tension of Snake Island just got washed away by the simple, sweet taste of a Brazilian acai bowl on a crowded public beach. What a powerful symbol of their return to safety.
So in the end, this whole journey reveals the island's incredible duality. On the one hand, yes, it's absolutely a place of extreme danger, full of lethal vipers. But it's also a place of incredible hope, where that exact same venom creates life-saving medicine, and where a critically endangered species is given a real chance to survive in its own protected world.
And that really leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? In a world that we're constantly trying to control and conquer, what is the true value of a place that remains just too wild, too dangerous for us to ever really inhabit?